This is the first paint by numbers that I am going to take you through from the very start to the very finish. Look at this canvas. I'll turn it upside down so you can actually, you might be able to see the design. I'll bring it in closer in just a moment. But look how lovely that is. It's all blank, ready to be coloured. Now, I bought this painting in September 2023 and they do say that you should do them within a year because paint might dry out. Now, so the first thing that I am going to do is I am going to use the white primer that I have. I've watered it down, half water, half primer, and I'm going to cover the design area just to help the colours cover because there's quite a few light ones in here. So we shall see. Now I'm going to show you the design, what the design is going to look like. If I can find it. This is the paper chart, the paper counterpart, so that if you go over a number and it's all covered but you want to do a second coat, you know exactly what colour you're looking for. You just have to look on the chart. Now, yes, it's in here. If I can open this up. Okay, it's not the best picture, and if you don't want to see, look away now. I know I can be funny like that. I don't want to see anything until it's like, I like seeing it come to life before my eyes. Anyway, this is the picture that it is going to be. Now, you can look again if you didn't want to watch. Now, sometimes the paints come like this. And by like this, I mean the numbers on them, I don't know how well you can see them, but the numbers on them, they're funny numbers. They don't correspond with the numbers on the chart. But you get little sticky dots to put on your pots. And I do believe it should be on here. Nope. I'll just, no. So this is the key. This tells you what colour is what number is what, and what sticker to put on top. I do like it when you get the stickers because obviously when you're opening up these pots, you've always got your finger on the lid and you're lifting it and your finger will rub off whatever is printed on the pot. So what I am going to do is get all the numbers on the pots, and I am going to do the white primer over the design area, and I'm going to do the background. Once the black is done, I'm going to start filling in the colour. Obviously, I'm going to have to attend to these paints because they are quite old now, and so hopefully they're all usable. I'm going to add some water, I'm going to mix them up, I'm going to bring it in a bit closer, and let's get started. So I'm just applying the primer here, and as you can see I have mine watered down so much it's almost the consistency of milk, which is perfect because it means it's going on really thin, really fast, and it's going to be very quick to dry. Now I am not going to do the entire thing with this tiny little brush. I was just letting you see a little bit. I'm going to turn this off in a moment and just paint the rest of it off camera and let you see it once I'm done. And here it is, all done. I have absolutely no idea why I've decided that this is the only part of the picture you really need to see. I haven't zoomed out to show you the rest of it. Anyway, that is the primer on. All I did was the picture area, the design area. I didn't bother doing the entire canvas. I don't know if it was impatience or I just didn't see the point because it's going to be painted black. But you can see there's definitely a border. There's a border around where the design officially stops and the excess canvas starts. The stretcher bars I buy for framing are slightly bigger than the paint by numbers design area because one's measured in inches and one is in centimetres, so they're never going to match exactly. So the picture has always got a slight border around it, and that means that all these colours at the top that stop on a very dead edge, they're not going to look great. So I'm just going to extend a couple of them. The lighter colours, the black won't matter, but the light colours, I'm going to extend them just a tiny little bit, because that will make it so much easier to frame. So I'm just extending it by a tiny little bit, and I have sped this up. It's just a couple of pencil marks, and it's just to make sure that the picture looks as good as it possibly can. I just think that having it end on a dead edge just before the top of the picture just looks odd. And it's my painting, so if I want to do this tiny, tiny little thing to make it look that much better, then I can. And now it's time to paint. So, doing the background, and I honestly wish I had painted this one different and also zoomed out a lot further, because I just don't think it makes that nice a video, which I didn't realise until I was editing. But every time I thought about painting this picture over the past year and a half, I've always imagined that I would do the background first and then fill in the cup and the steam and all the magical bits. And so that's how I decided to do it. And I've not been making videos long enough to have had any idea of how crappy a video it was going to turn out, because, well, I mean, you're watching it, so you'll be able to see for yourself. And maybe I'm just being incredibly judgmental because this is my video, but I just don't think it really makes for nice viewing. I think if I'd zoomed it all the way out and you could see it all coming together, that would maybe be different. But, like, you can't even tell what that is. I mean, I've decided to start it at the top. It's usually top left to bottom right because I'm right-handed, and I didn't see it when I was painting it, but I can't unsee it since I've been editing it. But that just looks like the head of a snapping turtle or some weird kind of dinosaur, like with a big glowy eye. I don't know. It's not a dinosaur. It's a cup of coffee. And I mean, I love the picture. I absolutely adore the picture. To me, it's something you would find in Lorien or on Dumbledore's desk. And when I was first shopping for all the paint by numbers I had decided to do for Christmas in 2023, honestly, I was blown away with the selection that there was. Because the last time I was shopping for paint by numbers was like years before, and they were all very much nice little country scenes or a train or something like that. It was nowhere near the kind of range that there is now. And I have done enough now to know that not all of them are going to come out anything like what the picture suggests, and it is quite deceiving. And I think they kind of rely a lot on the price being cheap enough that people won't complain, and so they can carry on doing it. Whereas I'm just now at the stage where I don't care if it was £3 or £30. If I'm not happy with it, I'm asking for a refund. Because if we don't, you know, this sort of stuff is never going to change. But I am very, very happy to say that this one seems to be coming out just like it was supposed to. And I mean, it just makes me so happy. I don't know what, you just get a feeling sometimes of when something's going to come out the way that it was promised. Now, looking at the video, you still have absolutely no idea what it is. But all the colours are really quite patchy. Now, when you're doing a paint by numbers, because you're using a small amount of paint and you're doing a very, very particular area, it's not like when real artists can really use a lot of paint and they're slapping it on and blending it in and adding bits left, right and centre. Because it's more like colouring in with paint, your paints are always going to be patchy when you first put them on. Blacks are patchy, blue, it doesn't really matter. There are a couple that maybe sometimes in certain paintings you would get away with not doing a double coat on, but I always tend to expect to do a double coat. It's when you get to 4, 5 and 6 coats and your darker colours are not covering the numbers, that's when it really starts to get to the stage where you feel like you're wasting your time. Now, I would never ever pretend
to anybody that a paint by numbers was my very own design and my very own work, and pretend that I'd done it from scratch all by my own self, and that the design hadn't been printed and it wasn't part of a kit. I would never ever do that. But once you've finished doing a paint by numbers, you don't want to see the numbers shining through. You don't want to see the lines of the design. Now, occasionally, like the worst colours for covering numbers are definitely, in my own experience, pinks, oranges, no matter how pigmented the orange is, no matter what kind of deep, dark colour it seems, oranges, yellows. Now, you expect those. Now, surprisingly, whites and creams are actually much better at covering than the yellows are. I don't know what it is about yellows and pinks. So sometimes there'll be a painting and it's only the yellow that won't cover. Now, you kind of expect that. It is really irritating, but it just kind of is the way that it is. But I did a painting not long ago. It's on my channel. It's Stone Village, and it was an absolute nightmare. Not even the darker colours wanted to cover. And they'd gone a bit number happy, which they can do. I've actually just done a load of shorts for my channel, just showing the paintings that I have coming this year, and I'm absolutely astounded and really disheartened with how many of them have gone very, very number happy. Like small areas have the number of the colour printed 4 or 5 times. There is absolutely no need for that. This one has been really, really good. The only thing I would say is the numbers were printed a lot of the time very, very close to the edge of the area. So it was like the number was kind of maybe overlapping onto the next area. But apart from that, this one has been absolutely fine. The numbers all covered very easily, very quickly. And I do all my second coats off camera. I have no will to record doing second coats, because when I'm painting, I usually have a certain amount of time set aside, and I tell everyone, just stay out the kitchen because I'm taking up the table. I mean, because I'm recording on Timelapse, people can still come in and talk to me, and I can still do all that, but I'm sitting down to specifically paint, so the camera and everything's set up. Whereas when I'm doing double coats, I mean, I can have tea cooking and just quickly do a few double coats while I'm 15 minutes on something being in the oven, or if I'm away to walk the dog but the washing machine has 5 minutes left to go, I'll quickly whip out a colour and do a bit of double coating, because I do tend to leave my painting. It stays on the kitchen table when it's not being painted, but it kind of moves when I need the kitchen table for something else. It moves to the bed and then it gets moved back and forth, but the camera is never left set up unless I'm actually recording, because it's my kitchen. I just can't leave it set up. I would love to have a space where I can just leave everything set and I don't have to change things, and my camera will actually be able to be high enough that the entire picture is taken into consideration, is taken into frame, not taken into consideration. The entire picture is in the actual frame. But at the moment, I'm just working with what I have. I never expected to be making a YouTube channel or recording anything like this. And obviously, I still have a lot to learn when it comes to doing the videos and recording, because this, what you're seeing just now, this is nice. I like this because you can see the cup and you can see the liquid and you can see what the picture is, and that it is actually looking pretty fantastic. And I have been double coating. The colours are nowhere near so patchy, and we're actually getting quite close to it being finished, because doing this like poof of steam was really actually quite quick. Now, if you want to go looking for this painting because you love it too and you really want to do it for yourself, I'm not sure that it's even still available. I bought it from Temu and I have seen it come in and out of stock. I haven't looked for it for a while, but the last time I did, the colours were different And that's one thing you really do have to watch out for, because you might see it and think, oh, that's like that painting I saw on YouTube, and you buy it and you get it and it's completely different colours because you didn't quite pay that much attention. The last time I saw it, it was really quite like a sepia kind of effect, and that seems to happen on sites like that. It's one painting and it'll be sold by 3 different people with slight differences to the colour, to the pigmentation. There really isn't a lot you can do about it. So if you do decide to go looking, try and get as close to the picture as possible. I will post it up at the end of the video, just so you can see the picture that I actually bought this painting from, because I wouldn't want anyone to think they're getting the same one that I have done and it not quite be that. Also, when I have enough subscribers, I fully intend to raffle off all of the paintings that I'm doing. So if you can't find it and you really want it, you could have a chance to win it. Now we're moving on to framing, and this, I don't know why, I always dread the framing. I always feel like it's going to go badly wrong. It never has, but it really does like complete the picture, and then that also means that I'm getting closer and closer to making the video, and I don't know why I get so nervous about making videos. It really isn't that big a deal. Now, that is the position that I have, and that really is what I'm looking for. So we're just going to speed this up, and then of course, because I am me and I just go ahead and do things without thinking, now I decide to stop and measure and make sure that I actually have it in the position that I want it in. After 7 million staples have already gone into it. Anyway, that is how I do my framing. I do it on my living room floor. Actually, I usually do it on my bed because it's the perfect height for me to do it standing. But we've only just met and I'm not that kind of girl. So I'm doing it on my living room floor. And I just staple it. I know I've seen some people using drawing pins. I don't know how they managed to get the tension right doing that. Kudos to them. I'm just screwing in the fixings, sticking on the tie, and there we go. How magical does that look? Several weeks and a haircut later, and here I am with the finished picture. Look at that. That is just so beautiful. I'm so pleased how this turned out. I mean, would you even think that that was paint by numbers if you just walked in and saw it on somebody's wall? It just looks so stunning. I'm very happy with the way the framing came out. And if I can bounce the light off it, because we have the sun out today, it's very exciting. We haven't seen it for about 2 weeks. It's been very, very cloudy here. Damp, miserable, cold. But today we have the sun. But yeah, so this is probably the very, very, very worst part, which is this little line that you can only see depending how we get the light to bounce off. And actually it looks worse on camera than what it does in real life. But I mean, I've had this on my bedroom wall for a couple of days. You just don't see that. And the rest of the painting looks so spectacular. Does it even matter? I do not think so. Anyway, that is it for this one. I'm not sure what the next one is going to be, so I cannot preview it yet. It will either be Mr. Abernathy here, or it will be the dandelions. They're going to be the next 2. I'm just not quite sure which one is getting done first yet. So I'm away to go and make that decision, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.